Hey everyone, it's Michael, and today I'm going to be talking about another, one of my favorite Goosebumps TV episodes ever. It's from Season 3, Episode 16. I'm looking it up on IMDb on my phone. It came out of all days, and I think this is hilarious because I never knew this. I only saw this on VHS tape when I was a kid. I'll show you that in a moment. It came out on Valentine's Day of 1998, and that is Goosebumps, Bride of the Living Dummy, which of course is a play on Bride of Frankenstein, the old title from the old film that everybody seems to love. I'm a big Frankenstein film fan, excuse me. Not a fan of Bride that much. It's okay. It has its moments. I actually really enjoy the old man in that film. But anyway, that's not the point. This is a VHS tape that I rented constantly from a little rental store that we had back in the day called Hollywood Video. It was kind of like Blockbuster, but to me it was better. My family was a Hollywood Video rental group, fans, whatever. This is the actual VHS tape I rented all the time. It even has the little sticker up here. When they stopped selling VHS tapes, or letting you rent VHS tapes, they basically sold them all, and I grabbed this in a heartbeat. Night of the Living Dummy 3 was gone. That VHS was gone already. Nobody grabbed this, though. I love it. I'm so thankful I have it. This case is actually the case that they had around it. I'm not a fan of this case. It makes a horrible noise when you try to take VHS tapes out of it. But I also finally got a DVD release once upon a time of this is episode 2, Night of the Living Dummy 2, from the earlier seasons, and it also has Bride on it, but there's no 3 on this. It's just 2 and Bride, and that's it. But I thought I'd go ahead and show you both of these together, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bride of the Living Dummy. I read the book, and I reviewed the book, and I don't remember if I liked the book better than the episode. I think I like the episode better, personally. There were some small, and sometimes, especially with the finale, kind of bigger changes that may or may not affect how you feel about this. Me, personally, I only grew up on the movie, episode, whatever. I didn't grow up on the book at all. I didn't even know there was a book. I thought it was just an episode based on absolutely nothing. I was born in 94, so by this time I was about 3 years old, closing in on 4 that November. And I think maybe a couple of years later is when I came across this VHS tape in Hollywood Video, and I've loved it ever since. This and Night of the Living Dummy 3 are some of my favorite, if not my very favorite, Goosebumps episodes of all time. I would also argue, as scary as Night of the Living Dummy 3 is, and probably, again, that's probably my favorite, I would say that this one standalone 20-minute long episode is one of the scariest of the TV show adaptations of the books ever. Ever. And this isn't even an episode, or an episode based on a book from the old original classic 62 book run. This is based off the next series that came out, or a couple of series later, called Series 2000, which this was the second book of that series. The book is good. I recommend it. It was fine. Again, I think I like the episode better, and there's a lot of reasons for that. If Night of the Living Dummy 3 was perfect, and was genuinely scary in my opinion, for my review I talked about that, this is a little bit scarier, honestly. I mean, this frightened the crap out of me when I was a kid. This and Haunted Mask, the first one, and kind of Haunted Mask 2, those 3 episodes, and Night of the Living Dummy 3, I guess, scared me so bad as a child. I only got to see all of these on VHS releases. They scared me so bad. There's no words for it. And I love it, and I'm still glad I got to experience that to this day. Basically, the general story of this has changed a little bit already from the get-go from the book. Essentially, a girl named Jillian has a sister that's younger than her, and this sister carries around a big old doll. Now, in the book, there's 2 twin sisters. The little sister from this episode there's a twin, you know. This one's just Katie, though, the little sister of the family, whatever. And this particular little girl has that big doll, and the big doll supposedly talks to her and tells her to do things all the time, and nobody believes her. Not the parents, not the main character sister, Jillian. She thinks the little girl, Katie, is kind of a little nutso, you know, and I kind of agree with her. And they go to a show, basically, of a ventriloquist named Jimmy O. James, which I'm assuming is a play on Danny O'Day, the old ventriloquist dummy act thing that I actually had a ventriloquist dummy, kind of like that one back there of Slappy. I had one of Danny O'Day when I was a kid. And I loved it. Danny O'Day was awesome. Anyway. Hello. My phone is trying to talk to me. Shut up. So, this episode essentially starts off, before this whole thing about the sisters going to the show of the ventriloquist, of Jimmy O. James walking around in like an alleyway. Basically, he was homeless, I guess, and he happened to come across a trunk that had a ventriloquist dummy in it. And the weirdest thing happened when he was going to unlock the lock that was on the side of this case, the trunk, whatever you want to call it. Lightning struck from the sky and hit the lock and busted it open. Yeah. So immediately from the beginning of this episode, you have this idea that this is so hammed up, this is so campy and silly and fun. Now, Goosebumps typically is like that in the TV show, but this was special. This was real special. This was special in the sense of they knew they needed to be more silly this time. But also, they ended up being scarier for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just because it's a kid's thing and you didn't expect that. My family didn't expect that. My mom did not expect that. I remember when I saw this for the first time and I loved it so much. And I got my mom to watch it with me too, like the next day or whatever. And she could not believe the kind of stuff that's in this episode. Now, it's not like we're talking about cursing. It's not like we're talking about like foul language or gore or blood or anything like that. This episode genuinely has scary imagery in it. Just like Night of the Living Dummy 3, that two-parter episode they did for the TV show. Yeah, this was scary stuff, man. It still creeps me out to this day. There's a shot in this episode of a vent in a room, and Slappy had crawled through the vent and was looking sideways into the room through that vent. And he's got his hands on the bars and stuff of the vent. That imagery scares me every time that I see it. It affects me to this day almost as a 25-year-old man. Yeah, it scared the crap out of me. Just watching it a minute ago and I was rewatching this, it still affects me. There's just something about that that is traumatizing when you're a child, and yet you love it. I love Slappy. Again, like I said in my reviews for the Night of the Living Dummy 2 episode and then the Night of the Living Dummy 3 two-parter thing, episode, if you want to call it one big one, the Slappy from 3 is the same Slappy here. These two Slappies are not the same one from Night of the Living Dummy 2. Night of the Living Dummy 2 Slappy is not very talkative. He's kind of just whatever. You know, he's just kind of mean and that's it. Now, he's mean in 3 and Bride, but he's not as to himself as he is in 2. This is Slappy going crazy. Like, they're giving him all these one-liners. They're giving him this crazy, hysterical laugh that I love to death. It's so great. It was such a good time to be a Goosebumps fan, and nowadays is not, because you can't find anything that you want, book-wise or anything out in public. This was the good old days, and it's so great to have that VHS tape and be able to watch this and have those memories of this particular specific tape from back in the day. It's a great feeling. But yeah, essentially that doll, that the little girl, the twin, or not the twin, but in the episode it's just the little sister, that doll, apparently Slappy might or might not be in love with that doll and wants to marry it. So Slappy basically forces Jimmy O. James, his slave at the current time, the ventriloquist, to send him to these two girls' house, essentially, and write a fake letter saying how he wanted her to have Slappy and everything, the main character to have Slappy and everything. And Slappy causes all kinds of havoc. He, like, steals their mom's wedding ring and, like, he traumatizes them by writing on their mirror that he wants his bride, and he, like, sits on the dresser and nobody knows how he came upstairs. Again, the more you say out loud the things that Slappy did in this episode, they're kind of dumb. They're kind of, again, to me, campy and cheesy and silly and fun and funny, even, because they're so wild and stupid. And yet, the episode itself is still effective. I still love it. I love the directing style. I love even the basement in the episode that's so important in the episode. That basement is just weird. You know, like this episode has this, as fast-paced and rushed as the editing seems on this episode, it feels like they're jam-packing so much information into 20 minutes, and it really does rush by. That whole 20-minute episode just zooms by because there's so much thrown in your face. I gotta tell you, man, as bad as the pacing is in the episode with all the rushiness, it's still good. It's still really fun to watch. It has so much going for it, and so many... It has such an atmosphere at times, especially the nighttime sequences, especially in the third act of the episode. That third act is creepy, in my opinion. It has an atmosphere and an eeriness that has been unmatched in anything Goosebumps-wise, in my opinion. Even compared to Night of the Living Dummy 3, that two-parter, I don't think as scary as that is. That episode genuinely scares me. That episode isn't as cheesy as this, but to me, especially in the very last scene of this episode, it's still scarier than Night of the Living Dummy 3, in my opinion. The execution of it's pretty well done, aside from the rushiness of the editing and whatnot. The kid acting is not the best. I personally think Night of the Living Dummy 3's acting is the best all around. The parents, the kids, Hayden Christensen playing the cousin Zane. Everybody was better there, but that was a two-parter. You had the time to build up in 40 minutes time all of those characters and everything going on around them. Slappy himself is developed heavily there, in my opinion. Rocky is. And here, again, it's everything in 20 minutes, so it feels a little too much at one point. But I don't think there's enough here to be a two-parter episode, you know? So that's just me. I don't have much more to say about this. I love the music. The music is great here, just like always with Goosebumps. The sound effects are great. The finale is awesome, whether you're in the campgrounds, just watching it because it's stupid, or if you're watching it because it's genuinely kind of eerie. I love it. I love both ends of that. I think it is such a great episode of Goosebumps. Probably one of the best. Probably easily in like the top 5 for me. One day I'll try to sit down, God willing, and do a list talking about my top 5 or top 10 episodes of the Goosebumps shows, or the show that exists that we have right now, which is this one. I also noticed something weird today. It says on the VHS case, Ultimate Goosebumps. So I guess that's what they were doing during Season 3 when they were releasing some of these Series 2000 episode adaptations. I don't know. It was weird. But anyway, if I had to rate if I had to rate Bride of the Living Dummy on a 5-star basis, I'd easily give this episode a 5 out of 5. It ain't perfect. It ain't perfect because of the editing. But everything else is great. I enjoy it. Again, the kid acting isn't the best, but there are some things they utilize well here with the kid actors. I really dig it. I really enjoy it. I could not recommend Bride of the Living Dummy enough to you folks, whether it's on the DVD or whether it's on the VHS tape, or if it's digital, like on Netflix or something. Check it out. You're not going to be sad and bummed out about this. This is such a fun episode. Again, if you like the book, you might be a little surprised by how different this is, especially the finale. The finale is completely different. So yeah, it was a cool time. I always enjoy watching this, and Night of the Living Dummy 3. But anyway, 5 out of 5 for me. What do you guys think about this episode? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this, about the review, about the episode, everything. What's your favorite of the Slappy episodes from the TV show? I'd love to hear it down below too. I don't know if I'll be doing any more episode reviews for right now, just because I've done so many. I don't want to seem like I'm trying to just cash in on these right now, and I don't want to rush them either. I want to go kind of in depth, kind of just like one episode a day at a time. But also, I'm trying to read books. Like, I'm trying to read through Goosebumps books and get reviews out for that too. So I'm trying to make that priority number 1 because there's way more books than there is episodes. But yeah, hopefully, God willing, I'll be able to get through all the content one day. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.